Welcome to the Your Money Hour podcast. I am your host, Dakota Grady. Welcome to the show, everybody. Whether you're listening online in California, South Carolina, wherever you are, thank you for joining us. If you're struggling financially, I know it's the holiday season. You need help with your money, I got you. Check out dakotagrady.com for resources how to get your money in order so you can maximize it and create the life that you want. If you have a business and you're a nurse practitioner, and you need help with the accounting and taxes for your business, I got you covered as well. Check out theatdoc.com. That's theatdoc.com. So tonight I have another couple and some friends of mine from South Carolina, and been knowing Geri I / Kinlaw for many years. We went to Berea College together, and her husband is Alex Kinlaw. I interviewed Alex on my podcast about a week or so ago. So I wanted to have them on the show because they're good people and I want to get some insight for them about money, business, and parenting. So without further ado, welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Yes. So let's tell about who you are and what you guys do for a living in terms of work and business.
Ladies first, you go.
Okay. I am Geri Kinlaw. I am a social studies teacher for Greenville County Schools. And I work with high school students year round. So I have partnered with multiple organizations to do so, but that's me.
Okay. And I'm Alex Kinlaw III. I'm an attorney in Greenville, South Carolina. I have my own law firm. It's called Kinlaw and Cunningham, LLC. We do a little bit of everything. We're a general practice. We do criminal law, family law, bankruptcy, personal injury, just about whatever you need. So that's us, and that's what we do.
Awesome. So if you haven't heard the last podcast, Alex and I did one talking about his business, so check it out. But we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I know Alex started his business about 8 years ago, right, Alex?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And you and your partner started, and you both out of college. Is that correct?
Right. We started straight out of law school, day one.
So how has Geri, because I've heard that behind every successful businessman, there's a successful woman. So how did your wife support you during your time when you started your business?
Oh, just she was a huge support. I think she was very critical. Just about every way you could imagine. You know, when we first started, it was very, very slow. We didn't make much money at all. In fact, I would say it wasn't until like probably the third year of the practice we actually got to the point where we could pay ourselves a salary. But during that time before we got there, you know, it was a lot of just blood, sweat, and tears, just putting the hours in, putting the time in. Geri was making significantly, I'll just be transparent, Geri was making significantly more money than I was. And so, you know, that was very helpful during when we were together and like, you know, coming into our own as a couple. And then also she had health insurance because she worked for the state as a teacher. And through that, you know, I had coverage through her. So things like that. And then, you know, and her being patient and supportive with what me and Cedric were trying to do and believing in us. I mean, all of that was very critical in helping us get to where we are.
Talk about that part when you just said she made more money than you did. Did you have an ego, like, battle with yourself, or was that something that you say, all right, for now she's the breadwinner and I'm gonna support her and her thing, or did y'all argue?
No, we didn't. I think, well, first of all, I'll start from the beginning. I didn't have an ego thing. You know, I didn't get into that. I just felt like, because I'll be honest with you, after we got married, I just felt like it was no longer me or just her. It was like, it was us. We were together. We were a team. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think it was always the mentality of like, yeah, this is very slow right now and the money isn't really there right now, but this is something that's going to benefit us as a team down the road. This is something that may benefit, you know, our children and something down the road if this grows and continues to thrive. So like I said, there wasn't an ego thing. I didn't get caught up in any of that. I think it was more so we just worked together as a team and pushed through it.
Geri, anything on your part?
No, I mean, I like you said, we took everything together. Like we discussed money and our goals, and we both kind of had the same like money goals, so that made it really helpful too. And we both were like really young, like, so when we were dating, I had only been teaching for a year, and so then when we got married, I was in my like third year, I think, of teaching, so, and coaching. So heard a lot of talks about patience because we both wanted to build our career. I was also coaching at the time. So we both had to be really understanding of both of our hustles, and they were different. But I felt like there was no ego. We just always had conversations about like, these are our goals, so how are we gonna reach them? So
and I'll throw this in there too, just as another talking point. I think when we first started, if you might put this out there, maybe when we first got together, we were looking at different homes, and and of course, you always want, because in your mind you want what you want in terms of a home.
Yeah,
I mean, that is what it is. So but obviously, Geri was making significantly more money than I was. I wasn't sure where this law firm was going, or if I'm even going to still be doing this, or what's going to happen with that. So we both kind of decided. I apologize as our kids, but but no, we in the end, I think what we decided to do was like, look, we decided to get a townhome and start off with that.
Yeah.
So I think that may have been challenging to do that. So that was something we had to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
But I think long term, as she got developed in her career, and as I got more established in what I was doing, it definitely gave us more flexibility in terms of what we could do with our money.
Right. Yeah. I think us deciding to get the townhouse was probably like the best decision at the time, even though I was all about like, I want a yard.
Right.
I love outside. So I was just like, there is no yard here.
Yeah.
But so once we like really started talking about our long-term goals, it just made sense. Like, yeah, you're right. We probably should be in this townhouse right now.
Yeah, I think off the air we talked about that. I believe you were dissatisfied with the townhouse, I think, right?
Yeah, so we looked around and there was this house that I just, I kind of fell in love with the house, and it was really just like, there was a yard and all the things, but like, I wasn't thinking about like upkeep and like, you got to pay to get the grass cut, because neither one of us were going to be at home to cut the grass ourselves. So, and just, thinking about like taxes are going to be different and things like that. So at first I just was really not feeling the townhome, our townhouse, but we made it into our home, and we have like so many great memories of our townhome. Like, it ended up being the best decision. So because we did that, we're able to be in a home that we absolutely love now, both of us. I think I'm right.
Right.
We love it, right?
Right. And then, because of that, also, I'll throw this in there too. Just, because we got the townhome, as we both continue to make more money and get to develop in our careers, we were able to put a lot of money aside and save a lot of money. And then, and because of that, there were a lot of expenses on both of our sides that we were able to just take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point my car was breaking down and I needed a new car. I was able to just get it. And then eventually her car that she had since college was breaking down, and then so it was time for her. So then she needed a new car. I was able to just take the money, pay for it in cash. I was able to just do it, and we had no debt with that.
We also had the goal of so I had student loans. So shout out to Berea, because I left Berea College, no debt, not really. I think I had like $500 debt because I traveled out of the country senior year. But USC was a whole nother story. So going to get my master's, I did end up having like student loan debt, and we were able to tackle that and pay that off because of the decisions we were making in those early years of our relationship. So
right.
I love it, man, because earlier I talked about working together to finance. Talk about that part about money, because money is something that drives a wedge in marriages. Talk about that, please.
Ooh, I'll let you start it off.
Okay, so I think there's a spender in every relationship, I feel like, and then there's a saver. Right. And I would say, like, between the two of us, I'm the spender and he's the saver.
What?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. But so like my spending is always like, it's usually for like other people, and so he often has to remind me like, okay, remember our goals. But I think it like really benefited us. That dynamic really benefits us, because he has a hard time like spending money on himself, or like things that are just for joy, and I'm just like, it's okay to save money and have financial goals, but also, like go on a trip. Like it's okay to do those things. So we balance each other out, because I'm not like an overspender where I'm just like spending money all the time. And he, is not like a super saver where he's like, no, we cannot go eat at this restaurant. You know what I mean? Like it's very balanced. We balance each other out really well.
Yeah.
So I think that we also have just had a commitment, like we're gonna have these financial talks, and whenever we have like gotten away of the financial talks, or we've gotten like comfortable, one of us will like say to the other, like, I think we should have like a budget meeting and just talk about, like, do we still have the same financial goals? Do we need to change them? Because, they change over time. Like, should we still be allocating money to this, or is it time for us to drop something? And so we just both will reach out to the other, to say, like, I think it's time for us to have a financial talk, or if there's like a change in the job. So like, he talks about how I was the, breadwinner at first, but then when we had children, I took a step back and I went to just coaching, and I dropped teaching, and then I went to part-time. So each different situation that we've been in, those conversations have been key.
Right. And I think that's I would just echo everything that she said. I think we balance each other out very well. And I think the only thing that I would add, just something new, is just, I know for me, and I got to get better at this. I just, I kind of like don't like spending money at all, just because I know what it's like to not have it.
Ooh.
I know what it's like to be in a situation where it's like, man,
yeah,
I had to pay Uncle Sam all that money.
Right.
He came knocking at my door and said he wanted 10 grand. And he just said, yoink, that's my money. And so, I don't pay the IRS. Now I got to figure out everything else. So, it's just, I think it's just getting over that and trying to learn how to manage it, but still have fun with money, because, it's one that I know that it's one thing to say, but you also got to be able to live and have fun with it. And I think that she's tried to help me with that. And I've tried to get better at finding that balance. But like you said, we balance each other out.
Jamaica and I have the same dynamic. I'm a saver and she's a spender.
But I will say she does a great job of finding deals and finding special. She's good at that. So I like that.
Listen, I'm frugal now. I'm the spender, but I'm frugal. I'm gonna find the deal. I'm gonna wait it out.
No. So she's good at that. So
yeah, she's good at finding deals too. So I commend her on that. So you went from working a full-time job to becoming a mom. How was that change, and what feelings came up? Were you guilty for leaving your job to become a mom, or like what feelings came up for you?
So I didn't really feel like guilty per se, because I was still coaching. So I still felt like I was like walking in my purpose and like working with youth, but I felt like God had given us a gift. We were told that we would never have children. So for us, it was truly a blessing when our daughter came. And then, also our son. So there wasn't really guilt. There were some times where I felt like, am I walking my purpose, but am I doing everything the way I'm supposed to be doing? So there were some doubts. There were some moments where, because I feel like society puts a lot of pressure on you, especially women, like, like some people feel like it's wrong if you quit your job and stay home. And some people feel like if you're at work and your babies are with someone else, that, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So there were times where I would feel those like pulls, like, but no, I wouldn't say there was any guilt. I feel like the greatest gift I ever gave our daughter was being home with her. It was also the greatest gift for me. Sometimes I get a little sad that I am not doing that for our son, but he's in great hands with with my mom and Alex's mom. And so I still am not full time, so I still get to spend a little bit of time with him. But no, there's no guilt, because I feel, and like Alex was just saying, we really only get one life, and you have to make the most of it. And I think for me, the best decision for me and for our family is if I was home with our kids for a significant amount of time. And so that has been a challenge and a blessing. So yeah, but no guilt. I think feelings of guilt may come around now that I am back into the school more so than I was. That balance sometimes is hard for me to, because I want to be the excellent teacher that I can be, but the heart of it, I want to be an excellent mom. I want my kids to know that I have their back regardless. And sometimes that means some sleepless nights, some very early mornings, but I think the guilt is coming now that I'm back into the school more so than when I was out of school.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Alex, we talked about how you all balance all the things you all do, and you mentioned having a calendar. Talk about how important it is to not only have a calendar, but also to communicate with your spouse about things that are going on.
Well, I think you said having a calendar, right?
I think you were saying about
right. I think having a calendar is critical. With everything that we do for our firm, we have a calendar, and we have a calendar pretty much everybody in the firm can see that. Talks about all my hearings and everything I got going on, even like personal stuff. I put that on the calendar. We have a calendar here at the home, but with different things that we got going on that we both check. I probably need to get better at looking at it, but no, I think the calendar is critical. I mean, because I think organization is key. I mean, I think that, and I think communication as well, because one thing that we do is with what I do and have my own business, my job is very sporadic. It's kind of all over the place. I may get somebody that may call me at 6 p.m. at night or at 8 a.m. in the morning and be like, hey, I got this case. I got a hearing in a couple of days. I got X amount of dollars I can pay you now if you're able to get involved. And I got to jump on that. So, I can't wait. And so it may be a situation where I got to tell her, look, I know we had this planned. I got this guy over here. He says he's going to pay me this. I got to meet him now. Maybe you can handle that with the kids and I'll be back. And then there's some days, because I'm self-employed, there's some days where I may not have anything going on with the office one morning. And then I can take advantage of that. And because I'm a mobile boss, I can stay home and maybe I can watch him and I can do breakfast for him and hang out with him while she does what she needs to do. Mm-hmm. And so, it's, but again, that all comes back to communicating and letting her know what's going on in my world and vice versa. And that's something I'm trying to get better at. I think we're both trying to get better at it. But I think that's been real critical.
Awesome. So parenting, what are some of the challenges as a parent? Because I got one daughter. One thing I'm gonna say, single parents are like superheroes.
Listen,
I agree.
My heart goes out to every single parent I know. I pray for them often. I send them all the everything, positivity, prayers. You're right. They are superheroes for sure.
And one thing y'all have, and we have too, is support system. Mm-hmm. How important is that in your family?
I'll start off. I think it's extremely important, to be honest with you. If you don't have the support system, I think we could still do it. Obviously, if you're in that situation, you make it happen. But I think having that support system is critical. Because on some days, her parents, her mom may watch the kids, and then my mom may watch the kids, and they tag team it while we're both at work. And then, I think the support system is huge. It's huge. So I think they are the MVPs. Yeah, so for sure. I think without them, it would be much, much harder than it is now. Even with their help, it can still be challenging. Just trying to on my own, just trying to manage the business and trying to manage everything that comes with that. And then I know she's in education, and there's a lot of stuff that comes with that as well. And then, and then on top of that, having to spend so much of your time and energy in the workplace, whatever that looks like, and then come home, and then you gotta put on the hat of being a mother or a father, and you've got to play that role and do that, because it doesn't really stop. So, I think that's challenging. I think it's challenging for me sometimes. I can admit that, but but I feel like I know for myself, and I think Geri will jump in. I know that they are worth it, and they're worth that time and that energy. And I think you just do what you need to do to make it happen. So
Yeah.
It's true.
I'll say we're here now at this interview because my mom is here.
All right.
Like, let me be real clear. Like, the only reason why you don't see two little children sitting in our lap is because my mom is here.
right.
Because we have done many of Zooms, like during the COVID years where teachers were Zooming into the classroom. It would be, nothing. If my mom or my mother-in-law could not watch them, I would be teaching the class with my son on my hip. And my daughter would be like off to the side, and the students would be like, "Oh, can we see your kids today?" And I'm like, you don't see them. They're literally right here. Right. Our parents, they mean the world to us. They really definitely are crucial to how we run our household. They are so helpful. Words cannot ever express how appreciative I am. Especially since I have gone back to work more. They have really, really helped out in ways that I didn't realize we would need help. So I'm truly grateful. But yeah, that support system has been critical.
So is parenting one child more challenging than two, or vice versa at all?
I think it depends. So sleep, I feel like I don't sleep. Like, that's a running joke between me and my friends, because now that we have two, somebody is up calling my name. So I don't feel like I sleep. But now I feel like it's just, I don't know if it's more challenging or not, because if one or two, because it depends on the day. Like, there's some days that so today our son is sick, and he didn't really want to, I had to take him to the doctor, and he really didn't want to do anything, but because our daughter was there, she modeled for him like what should happen at the doctor's office. So the doctor did everything to her first and then to him. And so that just made what could have been a really hard doctor's appointment like super easy. Like, it was like nothing. Like, I thanked her, the doctor thanked her, because he literally went from screaming and crying out of fear to, oh, okay, like, my sister's doing it, so I'm good. So, I think it just depends on the day, but it could also be another day you would call, we'd have this talk, and I'd be like, yes, it's more challenging because they feed off of each other. And one was screaming and then the other started screaming, and I don't know why they were screaming to begin with. So I don't know. What do you think? One easier than two, or
oh no, I think it's always very challenging. My answer is simple. I think it is more challenging, only because I just feel like because here's the deal. I mean, our oldest is like, she's getting to the point where she's able to sleep now, and she's somewhat independent with certain things. But because she's still at that age where she still wants to explore and touch stuff, and and all of that, we still kind of have to watch her. But then we've also got the youngest one who just turned 2, and then you still got to watch them closely, because they still want to put stuff in their mouth because they want to explore. So versus a daughter, she's past that. But I don't know. For me, in my mind, it's just more to keep up with. So you really gotta stay on top of that. But no, I think it is harder, in my opinion. But
so as we wrap up, what final thoughts do you have? Business, family, parenting. You guys have the floor.
I would say one thing, with all of the things that you just said: business, parenting, finances, communication, is going to be beneficial. So having frequent talks about all the things, especially in a marriage, is very helpful, and it can kind of solve problems before they even arise, because you're communicating about them. So I would definitely say communication is the key. Also, because you can communicate, like, if parenting, if like that's something is challenging and that for your partner, like, you're able to help out. Same with, like finances. Like, if you're somebody that is a huge spender and you spend all this money, and your partner and you are having these conversations about your financial goals, it's easy for your partner to be like, hey, remember our financial goal, and then it not cause an argument or an issue. So I would say communication. Communicate. There's no such thing as, I think, over communication.
Right. No. I agree. I agree with that. I think communication is definitely number one. I think the other thing I would say is just, I think with marriage and all that, I think, like I said in the beginning, I think a lot of it is, it's about us. It's about us as a team. And it's not just about the individual anymore, when we got married, I mean, I knew that we were going to be a unit and we were together and we were in this together. And then, we were going to make this journey and do it. And we were going to grow this, because really, when you think about it, marriage, and I'm going to kind of go off a little bit, but I think of marriage in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a business. That's what we're doing. We're creating a business, and and it's about generating wealth, not just for us, but for our future for our future generations, for our kids and for their kids, and so I think that's important and that's critical. And so, I think it's important to kind of look at it from that angle, but at the same time, I think it's important for us to also still love each other and still be friends and be able to maintain that friendship, and I think friendship is the key, because you can love people, you can love your mom, you can love your dad, but
you're not friends.
Yeah, but you cannot be friends with them, if that makes sense. So, so I told her that, no matter what happens with the money or the kids or whatever it is, we got to be friends at the end of the day. And that is, and whatever it takes to do that, we need to make that happen. And I feel like everything else, and keep them putting God first, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a bit much, but I just felt like I had to say that was on my heart.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for sharing. So how can people find out about you guys on social media?
So if you go to Google and you type in, just type in Kinlaw, Kinlaw, and Cunningham, LLC, you'll find me. Law firm in Greenville, South Carolina, Kinlaw and Cunningham, LLC. You can't miss it. Just type me in Google, you'll find me. And then.
Yep, I'm Geri Kinlaw on social media. So just type it in and you'll find me.
Cool. Well, thank y'all for joining me on the Your Money, our podcast. And we got to connect off the air about.
Yes, for sure.
So, but thank y'all for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.